Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me today on this really beautiful, windy Auckland day. We've had so much rain yesterday. It's been raining all day yesterday. And I was out in the garden this morning doing my meditation and my beautiful healing that I normally do in the morning. I tend to spend about an hour and a half. And I have a routine where I do the clearing using the nature's elements, and then I do a bit of journaling and a bit of reading. And yeah, so it was quite windy, and the flies started to invade me, and I was getting quite frustrated because I was actually releasing a part of my I was journaling and I was releasing an emotion that was it was an emotion. It was anger, and I was journaling about. My mentor told me to do this, to journal on the feeling of having been used, because that's something that I had carried in my subconscious until now. That feeling of being used, being taken advantage of, being objectified as well. So I've been journaling on that in the last few days. And I was sitting out there in the garden. I was beautiful. I was sitting there in bliss after I did all my clearing. And as soon as I started writing, I just felt this rage just kind of like just rise up, because flies were all around, even before I got into journaling, but they didn't bother me as much. It's just the moment that I started to journal about this topic, I became very frustrated, very edgy. I started to just smash the flies all around me, and I was like, okay. So this is a feeling I need to sort of, I feel like I need to get away from it, and then I'll get back into it. So I'm about to get back into it. I just want to share that experience because a lot of the times, when you're journaling, it's not always very smooth. And there's a lot of emotions that come up, and it's healthy to let them, to come out and then to work through them and to just start and just to journal, and just journaling. What is it you feel? What is it that you've lived through that brings you into that space, into that moment? Um, yeah, it's just so healthy to accept these emotions as they arise. That was something massive for me. Massive, massive, massive. Um, and the part of being used caused more rage in me than the others. The part of, the part of being taken advantage of was stronger than the feeling of being used and being objectified. So isn't that interesting? So anyway, there's more work for me to do there. So what I want to bring today, to you beautiful ladies, is the purpose of intentions. So what is behind the reason of our actions? So why do we choose to do certain things from the moment that we wake up in the morning? What is the intentions that we set ourselves for the day, for the week, for the month? And I guess, yeah. So intentions, I don't see them as goals. I see goals as being more masculine, more like pretty set on. Intentions is more like the journey, right? So, for example, um, I feel that setting intentions for myself, what it gives me is actually a purpose behind. It's like that fuel behind everything that I do, that I structure within my day. So it doesn't really matter how I go about doing it, but it's just a matter of having those intentions very clear, my subconscious, in my consciousness as well, to know my intentions behind my action. So, for example, reading. That's reading topics that are going to be very beneficial for my growth, so that I can better serve you and support you. Um, the intention behind my reading is so that I can bring more resources. I can be more resourceful when it comes to supporting you ladies in my life. Okay. So I would encourage you, really, really encourage you, to set some intentions for yourself, even if it's just like one intention for the week, Normally, I like when I do my yoga class, I really like to set an intention for the class before I start it off. And then as I'm doing and as I'm in the action of or in the motion of my yoga poses, I really kind of allow that intention to sit within my body. So it becomes purposeful, yeah? So everything I do, it feels like there's a purpose behind it. And that automatically it fuels me up. It just gives me that radiancy, gives me that sense of purpose, um, of vitality. It's like I just yeah, it's like I know I'm doing this because it's going to get me there. So you really embody your intention. It's the idea of having intention is so that you can really embody it and you can bring it forward with everything that you're doing, yeah, with the steps that you have decided to sort of set for yourself. So I wanted to encourage you ladies to set intentions for yourself for this week. Something that is dear to your heart, something that you feel is important for you in order to get to the next level, in order to get ahead, no matter how small it is. It could be an emotion, it could be a state of being. For example, boldness can be one, or bravery, or ease, doing things with ease, or being creative. That could be an intention. Um, so creativity is something that I'm very much in that space at the moment, because I want to, bring my skills and my expertise in the best way that I can, so that I can share with you things that have worked for me, things that are very highly effective, and bring it out to you in a way that is very easy to digest, to comprehend, and to apply. So I feel that it's what the skill required is actually creativity, and also like dedication, discipline, yeah. So that's my intention for the next few days or for the next week or so, however long it's going to take me. So ladies, I just encourage you. These flies are so annoying. So I just encourage you to set yourself intentions behind the things that you want to achieve. So if you don't know what those things are, then we can have a chat. You can just get on the phone with me or get on Skype. Um, you can PM me and just say, Vanessa, I want to take up that offer where I can just sit down, where I can sit down and have a conversation with you, because I feel that I need to talk it out. Sometimes when you talk out the things that you want to get into or that you want to create, and the space that you want to move into, sort of like merge into, it's good to have it clearer in your mind so that you can embody it and then kind of live it, yeah. And if you need that clarity, by all means, talk it through with me. Talk it through with somebody that you can trust, that is that has that positive energy, that has that energy that doesn't direct you to tell you exactly what you need to do, because you don't want that. My place is to hold space for you, to allow you to speak and to find your truth, right? So that's what's so empowering about speaking with me, and somebody that is obviously intentional about you reaching your truth, and yeah, and bringing your truth out. Okay, so clarity is important. When you're clear about it, then when you're clear about your intentions, you can envision the intentions, and you can start to kind of like semi-plan your motions in your day. Okay, so that can bring you to the next level. That can hype you up. That can really change your your frequency. That can really change the frequency in which you operate in, and you operate from in your body, like from a cellular level. And this is why, for me, it's so important to keep my diet clean as well. And don't get me wrong, like I really don't deprive myself of anything, but my body just craves good food, clean food. Um, I'm not a vegetarian, I'm not a vegan, but I am very minimal on meats. Yeah, I don't normally. The only meat that I buy is tuna, salmon. So for me, it's really important to keep my diet really clean. I do have my vitamins. I have my vitamins on a daily basis, and my flower essences, and that's a really effective way of just kind of keeping your body clean. And I do have them for any of you that want to know more about the New Zealand flower essences. They're very high frequency. It helps to keep your third eye nice and clear, helps you to keep focused, helps you to have supports you with your memory and with your energy levels, and it detoxes at a cellular level. So we tend to collect a lot of, we have a lot of parasites um, in our cells, in our body. We have a lot of, fat stored in there. We have a lot of chemicals that we, absorb from the environment, from the water we drink, from the foods that we eat, if they're not organic or, well cleaned. So we store all those parasites in our bodies, and sometimes eating a good diet is not good enough to clear out everything from the cells, because what is included in the cells as well is memory cells, and that's where the trauma is stored in our body. And this is why, I don't know if you notice, but somebody that is very stressed out, you can see it from the color of their skin. They tend to be quite bloated around the belly area, and they tend to be quite bloated in the face as well. So what happens is that you start to retain liquid, and these fat cells, they start to swell, and you've got all this matter in there that is harming your body. It's all toxins really, that is giving you weight. It's putting weight on you. It's making you all puffy around your face, around your eyes. So you can tell when someone's happy and healthy compared to somebody that is, going through a hard time, that has a bit of grief, that maybe isn't having so much of a healthy diet, and hasn't detoxed for a little while. So I make sure that I have these high frequency flowers made in New Zealand from Karen Creighton. She's an amazing natural medicine doctor. Well, she comes from, she was, a doctor, but she sort of developed into natural medicine, and she creates her own potions. She creates her own formulas, and she doesn't give the recipe to anybody, and that's fair enough. That's I respect that. That's her creation. So she uses the frequencies from the bark, from the trees, from plants that are very unique in New Zealand. So they're known to be very high and higher in frequency compared to the ones in Russia, to the Eastern European ones, to the Australian ones. So that's just a little bit of information that I wanted to share with you. That's part of my routine. That's part of what I do for my body and for myself, to look after myself and to make sure that my energy is vibrating at a level that allows me to bring my heart and soul into what I'm doing. Okay. And even in the present moment, even being present. So it's always healthy to do that, because we do have stored trauma and emotions in our cells. So that's definitely part of the process of clearing that out. It's not the only thing that we need, because sometimes we do need to talk things through. We need to journal. We need to really get deep and honest with our subconscious, and get out everything that we have inside that we will never be able to get out, because our level of thinking can never get as deep as that when you're conversing with someone. So that requires time alone and really digging that stuff out. That is so easy to resist, you see. So for me, for example, when I was out in the garden and I was doing my journaling about, the feeling of, feeling used, I started to get very frustrated with the flies. I was getting really edgy, and I needed to like get out of my own space, get out of my own way. And I was sitting there for a bit. I'm like, oh my God, okay, so this emotion is coming out. It's really strong. So I felt that I had to feel into that. And to be honest, I had to get away from it, because it was quite scary. It was a scary place to be in. It was very uncomfortable to be in. But then you have to continue to bring yourself to it, because if you want to get rid of it, you need to face it. Okay. So that's the process I'm in. I'm human. We are in this process. We're all humans. We're in this process together, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful if you are dedicated to working on yourself, because remember, your inner work. When you do your inner work, your whole world changes. It becomes a reflection of what you have inside. So if you're not doing the inner work, then the same patterns are going to keep appearing. The same situations are going to continue to appear in your life, no matter how much you don't want it to, it will, because subconsciously that's what you attract. But when you do the inner work, it's like you can really dissect it, you can really break it down, um, and allow those layers. It's like an onion. Allow those layers of the onion to just peel off and get to the bottom of it. Get to the bottom of your truth, of your essence, yeah, of who you really are. So my video today, I was going to cover, I covered topics about the topic on um, the power of intentions. So when you set yourself intentions, it helps you, it fuels you, it helps your heart to vibrate and to expand in the process, so that you're more in your body, not in your mind. So it's basically the purpose behind the intentions is that it's the part that keeps you going. So I'm going to leave you with this little short video. It was only a 16-minute video, but I hope that you enjoy it, that you do get a little nugget of treasure from this message. And I'm going to give you a lot of love like I always do. And I encourage you ladies to either get in contact with me for us to have a beautiful conversation together, just to get to know one another. I'd love to hear where you're at in your life. I'd love to hear what areas you're wanting to work on. I mean, we wouldn't be in this group if we didn't have any intentions of growing and expanding. And a lot of the times, like I was saying to you yesterday, sometimes we may think and feel that we do have things sorted out, but it's when you start digging, and that's why journaling is really effective. So when you start digging and you find that there's actually a lot of things that maybe you haven't really looked into or allowed yourself or given yourself the chance to look into that much, because like it just kind of felt uncomfortable. So allow yourselves to get into that space of discomfort, because that is where you're going to find your breakthroughs. If you need help, if you need support, if you do need guidance, come and talk to me. I have a lot of experience. I've lived through enough, and I've applied a number of techniques and a lot of ways. I've explored a lot of ways, so I know what is effective, what isn't effective. So I'm happy to share with you my guidance. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I give you a lot of love, and I really do look forward to connecting with you. Have a wonderful day or evening wherever you are in the world. Bye now.